I grew up in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. I grew up in a Christian home where we attended church every Sunday. I was very involved with our youth group and didn't really have any issues with substance abuse throughout my family. No one that drank or smoked or did any sort of illegal substance. And I pretty much abstained from it throughout high school, and I dabbled a little bit in college, but nothing extreme. Following college graduation, though, I moved out across the state to Lancaster County, and I did okay for a little while out there, but after a while, pretty much the loneliness and being away from family kind of sunk in for me, and I found myself going to bars occasionally. I was out in Lancaster for 10 years, and it basically just progressed until I was at the bar pretty much every night. It was one of those things that if you weren't there at 7 o'clock, friends would call and ask, what was wrong, how come you weren't there? And towards the end of my time there, I had pretty much progressed to the point where I was drinking to excess every night. It finally came to a head where I just decided I couldn't do that lifestyle anymore, and I missed my family too much here in Pittsburgh, so I moved back here in 2003. And again, I did okay for a little while. It was a new place, new lease on life there. But again, things just started to progress again. I bought my own house, and so I was on my own again. And it basically just kind of the alcohol and the abuse of that sort of crept back into my life. In 2008, I met a girl at work that worked right there in the office with me. Her father was an alcoholic, and she lived at home still. There was also a brother and sister that were there that were addicted, addicts. And she had a daughter, her name is Jamie, and she really wanted to get away from that whole lifestyle. And of course, she got to the point where she was seeing me coming into work every day, and she could tell that I had been, using the night before and abusing alcohol. So 3 weeks before we got married, actually, she kind of approached me about it and said that she really wanted to get away from that lifestyle, and she didn't want to bring her daughter into a situation where there were continued problems, and encouraged me to go ahead and find some counseling on that. And so 3 weeks before I got married, I actually went into rehab, and I went ahead and went through the program. They were sort of reluctant to let me go on the honeymoon because they wanted me to continue on in the program, of course. But everything went okay, and I did complete it. And I did stay sober for the entire length of our marriage, which only had lasted about 3 years. The first time that I went into rehab, though, I didn't really think I was one of those people. I heard their stories, and I really just thought, for me, that I liked alcohol. I just liked to drink, and it was relaxing. I heard some of the other war stories from people and the things they'd been through, and I couldn't really identify with it. So I didn't take any suggestions the first time. I didn't get a sponsor. I didn't work any steps. And I'd say for maybe a month after I graduated from the program, I continued to go to meetings, but that tapered off after a while too. And so the day that she had decided to leave and that the marriage fell apart, I came home with a case of beer, and I was basically off to the races again for 9 more months. And this time I decided to go into rehab for me, because I knew that I had an issue. At the end of the 9 months, nothing had changed. I hadn't healed at all or made any efforts to heal. And so this time I actually listened to some people, and I took some suggestions. I did get a sponsor, and I worked some steps. And found out I actually was one of those people that I didn't think that I was. And things went much better the second time. gathered a whole lot more tools to cope with my drinking, and so that's pretty much my story.